Almost made it, 5 feet.
Peter and Dan here from the Adventure Guys channel. For the past 5 years, we've been living off the grid and overlanding to some of the most remote places on Earth. Join us as we continue on the journey, bringing you an all-new perspective from the saddle of our adventure bikes.
Today we met up with our friend Sean from the YouTube channel The Story Till Now, and left Moab to explore Onion Creek after it was suggested to us by Chad from Living the Van Life in our last episode.
Alright guys, we're back in beautiful Moab. We're about to head onto Onion Creek Trail with our good friend Sean from The Story Till Now. It was a little bit of a cold ride. That's why my lips are a bit numb. But we've got a bunch of cool things that we picked up. Some for like quality of life, and then some for the quality of our videos. One of them that I'm using right now is the Pro Shot chin mount for the GoPro. I think that'll give a lot better point shot for the point of view from my helmet, and then also just keep it stable and in the same spot, because it's kind of tricky to keep it in the same spot when we were just kind of jimmy rigging little GoPro pieces to fit. But I did get a new microphone because I haven't had one in the past couple of videos, so I wasn't able to talk. But the new microphone I got doesn't work, so I'm not going to be able to talk through my helmet, but I'm going to be pulling over and trying to talk as much as I can. And then a couple other things that you're going to see on the road that's really exciting. So we're just airing down now, and then we're going to hit the trail.
The trail so far is beautiful, winding us through the small canyon that the little river which gives this place its name has carved out over a millennia. We drive through this small stream many times as we get deeper and deeper into this gorgeous landscape.
Hey Pete. Alright, so here's something that's brand new and we're really excited about. It's our new drone. It's one of the Skydio drones.
Skydio 2. So as you know, if you've been watching all our past videos, especially when we were on the Colorado BDR, we were talking a lot about this drone. It just seemed like the perfect match for someone on a bike to be able to film what you're doing, because the Skydio basically runs off this little beacon and it will follow you, and it has really good obstacle avoidance technology and great following technology, as well as a good camera. So this is going to be our first time flying it out in the field, so we really hope it does well and gives a much better angle to our videos.
And boy, does that angle look epic. Pulled over to land the drone and let the convoy catch up.
Wow,
That's awesome.
that thing's cool.
What a beauty drone to have. It's so cool.
I mean, it'll be cool and we can see the footage to see how that all looked, but it's crazy because we were going like 30 miles an hour on windy canyon roads, and it's like weaving in and out of trees and going in front of us and then behind us and then like spinning around us and stuff. And then when we wanted to come back, we just hit like for it to home to the beacon, which was in Peter's pocket, and then it just came and landed itself. It's pretty amazing.
It's crazy. I know.
We are gaining some elevation as we wind our way up the canyon, and the already magnificent terrain is heightened by the golden glow of the setting sun. We've been driving for an hour on this trail. With our daylight dwindling, we are keeping our eyes open for a good campsite for the night. We caught up with the Jeeps who had pushed on when we were prepping the drone. As some of you may know, if you follow the Epic Family Road Trip, our dog Lando can run incredibly fast, and almost always runs the entire duration of all the trails we have done for the last 2 years. As we passed the Jeeps, Lando decided to run ahead with us on the bikes, and the drone captured him keeping pace. Lando is a German short-haired pointer. This breed of dogs is mostly used for hunting birds. They are really energetic and have incredible endurance. From the time Lando was a puppy, he loved to run with the Jeeps, and now the bikes. GSPs run at speeds from 35 to 45 miles an hour, and can easily run 10 miles a day. Lando is no exception. And with most of his life being spent running ahead of our convoy around North America, he is in the shape of his life. Lando had already been running for the last hour before he took off with us. Right ahead of where we stopped is our camp for the night.
I love how organized everything is though. All right, so we're gonna be setting up our Lone Rider tent, one of them for the first time. This is the, can't remember the exact name, we'll have them written down here. But this is the moto tent that allows your motorcycle to actually come into the tent with you. And this is gonna be our first time setting up, so I'm excited to see how it all looks. The packaging and everything's really nice, everything's really organized, so get this set up. It only takes like 3 poles I think, so it's gonna be pretty cool. It's crazy that a tent this big fits into that small of a tent bag. Okay. And we'll go here and grab some of the tent stakes.
We brought a lightweight hammer to use for pounding in stakes, which I think I'll later. We also have like a small Halston Brook hatchet, which could have a dual purpose of being something we can chop firewood with and use the back of it as a hammer. Until then, we've got this super light, just regular stake hammer for tents.
Here. Magic. Stake up the front.
It's pretty well set up now, so if we start unplugging them. Here.
Don't bury them.
I'm not. It's not kind of each other. This camp kind of makes me think of like a base camp whenever I see it. Even though this was our first time setting it up, looking at photos, and kind of the whole idea of it is to be big and comfortable. So that is the main entrance. It's also a garage for your bike. This whole area you can pull a bike in. I think we could fit both of our 690s in here and work on your bike, keep it out of the elements, or if you're in a sketch area, you can keep it away from prying eyes and right beside you when you sleep. I think this would also be a great area for us for editing and other things. We can have our little tables or sit on the ground with our laptops. We've got chairs and just have an entire space. aside from where we're going to be sleeping, where all of our sleeping gear will be as well.
Another thing with all the Lone Rider tent bags, you can see they got this little warning or caution sign. And if you break down on the side of the road or something, you can set this out when it's packed away on the side of the road. And it's a little baton to ask for help or just let people know something's wrong.
Then on the inside, this secondary area is where you sleep. It's pretty awesome because you can completely detach the entire inner area, and like if there was nothing in there, you could just, you know, unfasten all of these all the way around and then push it to the side and have this whole area to work in or stay in, whatever, for whatever reason you would want. And then it being a completely separate thing, hopefully will really cut down on like condensation and moisture, which is something you always get in tents, or always seem to. So there's two doors that enter into the tent, and then that's your sleeping area. In there, it's basically equivalent to like a super tall and boxy two-person tent, which is nice. It's just what Dan and I need when we're in there. Then on the inside, we've got a couple little pockets and stuff. We'll show that more when we got some better light. Fits perfect with all the bags.
Want to grab a rock?
Yeah, too sandy. Yeah, so it's a 690 with all the luggage in there.
Yeah, I could easily put both.
Yeah, there's tons of room all the way beside it on either side. We would want to definitely keep that room as open as we can, and I'd take the luggage off, which you can do now.
Yeah, we could set all our luggage right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you want it in you. At least our clothes bags could be with us inside.
Yeah. Pull the pannier off there at least.
As long as that didn't fall.
Nice. Oh, there's plenty of room.
I can't believe how much room is in this tent. Especially for us, since we're not just traveling, we also have to produce videos, and we have to carry camera equipment and edit and stuff. Having a spot like this where you have a lot more room to keep extra gear, but then also, like, say this tent is, right now it's not as tight as it can be, but I'm 6'1" and I can stand in it. And man, this tent just looks amazing. Super excited to sleep in it. We're probably not going to go into too much depth on like about the tent, since this is going to be our first time actually trying it out. But we'll just get a good night's sleep and then let you know what we think about it in the morning, our first impressions. And then once we've used this one and our other tent for a while, we can really tell you guys what we think of it. But I mean, I already love this thing. It looks amazing. It's incredible size for how small it packs away. Just seems like the perfect tent for us. Here's the food. You can take a look through this and get something yummy. So an update on the cooking situation. Looks like Peter finally got the sketchy gas stove working. After a few attempts, looks like it's working totally fine now. It's pretty cool. It's just a bit sketchy when you don't know how to use it, but the benefit of a stove like this is it uses regular gas and I think almost any fuel. So we can just use one of our little MSR canisters or just filter some out of it, or siphon some of it out of the bike. So I know this probably isn't the prettiest footage, but I'm inside the tent right now and I'm going to be setting up my bed. We came in pretty late today, so couldn't get much good footage, and we're pretty tired. We've been riding pretty hard, but I'm going to get my bed set up and then we're going to eat dinner. And hopefully in the morning we have a nice sunny day so we can kind of show how everything looks. like our sleeping quarters and everything like that. But right now I'm going to be testing out my new mat. My other one had a hole, so it kept just leaking air. And this one is a Thermarest Scout, I believe. So I've never used it before, so it'll be kind of cool. See how well it works. So I know it's kind of dark, but this is where I'm sleeping. You can see there's more than enough room for Peter. And then this is the new sleeping pad. It's quite thin, but it gives enough cushion. But the thing I really like about it is how small it packs away, and I'll show you that in the morning. Alright, I think the broth is warm enough.
It'll eventually die out. This is gasoline, it's just really weird.
While our cooking was a total flop tonight, our mom had thankfully made a much more delicious and filling meal, which we ate with the rest of the group before turning in for bed.
Alright, so we had a good sleep in here. Dan's still kind of asleep, and the sun's coming up over the mountains. So you can already hear that I think Sean has his vehicle on, and probably our parents have been up for a while. It was cold. It was -7 last night. Our sleeping bags are rated to like 0 Celsius. It was -7 last night. So we actually had picked up these little, they're called jungle bags. They're like, they're made for the jungle, so they don't have a huge rating. I think it's like to -2 or just +2 Celsius. It's warmer weather sleeping bags, but they're like inlaid with mosquito nets, and you can completely cover yourself, and it's like it covers you with a mosquito net, so it's kind of cool. We just used them as a bit of a extra thermal layer, and we slept in some jackets and stuff, and we were fine. I was actually totally warm and comfortable, but it's kind of a sign that we got to start heading south. We're not really prepped too well for wintertime. So this tent was awesome. It's actually warm in here compared to outside. Right now it's kind of breezy and cold, and yeah, we had a good night's sleep. Gonna get everything packed up, and then we're heading back into Moab and back up to Hurrah Pass kind of area. So it's gonna be a good day. I think at first I'm gonna make a coffee. I want to try out our Snow Peak French press. That thing looks awesome. Yeah. You pour it back in. Water froze. Trying the sketchy stove again.
Yeah. This Snow Peak French press that we found is it's cool, but it gets a burner under it. So I had the jet boil out ready to go and boil water in about 2 seconds, but now we're gonna be lighting this thing and be here for a bit until I figure it out. It always will take a little bit longer. Gotta first grind some coffee. Well, gonna be making some coffee, and this little guy that you see is a hand grinder. It makes about 1 cup of coffee per grind, but it's actually made by Black Rifle Coffee, and we got it like almost 4 years ago now, and I've been using it, like especially our parents, every single day on the trip since then, and it's still running strong. It's super durable. It's fallen out of the Jeep many of times, and it's always made some good coffee. So we're trying a new roast actually, because we've tried quite a few of Black Rifle's roast, but this one's a good dark roast for this morning, and it's called Blackbeard's Delight. So we'll try it in that Snow Peak. I've actually never made a French press. I normally do like a pour over or Java drip. So this will be interesting. See if it works. I'm only pretty sure that you had grinds right now. I think I'm 100% sure.
I don't think you do it until it's warm, do you?
No, I think you add it now because you press it down, right? Once it's boiling.
Maybe.
I'm gonna add one more. And then,
Are you sure that's a 1-person kettle?
That's oh yeah. So I guess only I'm having coffee.
Well, I'll make one after.
No, it makes 3 cups when the water's full. We just don't have enough water.
Yeah, so just leave it. So this is at least my first time making a French press coffee. We usually just do like Java drip, so we'll see how it works. We don't really know what we're doing.
All right, so we got that going. It's one problem with the burner on the ground there is it's got rather large legs that hold a pot up. So something this small, like this little snow peak, is kind of sitting on there just barely on two of the legs, but still fits. I got this to light up faster than last time, so I'm figuring it out. It's really not that difficult. I think it's just how many times you plunge it will make a difference, and I think you only really do it 10 or 20 times, and then how fast you turn that thing and get an actual fire going up there. So I had that little bick, and then I got the big one. The big one worked a little better because it obviously makes a little bit bigger of a flame, but then also it's just a little bit easier to keep the flame going in it so that it wouldn't die. Because as soon as the flame on top dies, and notice it starts just kind of pouring out at the bottom, like out of the little sprayer, and the bottom will light on fire. So yeah, kind of a sketchy thing altogether, but definitely good when you have mastered it. I'm sure a lot of people laugh at this because it's probably really easy. Anyways, I look forward to this coffee. It's cold this morning. You hear it start getting to a boil now. It's pretty awesome. It's almost there. So while the water's boiling for the coffee, I just wanted to take a second and talk a bit about the tent since it's brand new for us. Having the bike room is just nice for peace of mind. Everything we talked about yesterday, like if you're in a sketch area, it's good to have all your gear inside of something where no one can see it. First of all, it would also be much harder for someone to get to it. They'd have to come in the tent with you. And then keeping it all out of the weather. But just this morning, since it was so cold, it was actually a really good example for us of how that can be convenient. You know, all of our gear was inside, so you can get dressed and changed right there. We can put everything back on the bikes, get them all set up to ride inside the comfort of a tent. You know, we're not freezing outside in the wind and the elements. It'd be the same, especially if it was raining and other stuff, any other kind of weather. So yeah, it was just kind of a nice thing to wake up to and not have to get out of your tent to get everything else prepared. I put the filters in right, but I think it worked.
That'll be a pure cowboy coffee.
All right, well, we've got coffee. I do think I put the filters in wrong, so about half of the grinds escaped into my cup, but you know, I've had a lot worse. It still tastes really good, and that's pretty cool. I like having stuff like that, especially since we found that thing. It's great because it's I'm assuming it's made out of some sort of titanium alloy. The thing's weightless, and to have that type of like kind of cozy feeling of not instant coffee. I love doing Java drips, but like a French press is pretty cool, and I don't know, it adds another element of like the feeling of getting your coffee in the morning, especially when it's so cold. But yeah, that's good. I'm glad we have it. We're gonna pack up now, get everything kind of set up to leave. Everyone else isn't too ready, so I think we're still doing fine. But once we have all our gear all put away, then we're deciding right now whether we're gonna wear our climb gear. We brought both this time because for road, I would prefer to be wearing the climb gear rather than just a jersey and light pants. It's obviously got way better stuff for abrasion resistance, like for slides, which is about 90% of what you're gonna be doing on the road unless you get into a head-on. And it's got all that super Cordura fabric on it, so we can actually slide and not rip it apart. Our armor I'd rather preserve for hard trails, and this trail is totally fine. Like, it's a moderate trail, but it's more just a fun dirt road and everything. There's no real obstacles to it. So the protection that the Climb Badlands Pro will give is going to be more than adequate for a trail like this. And the main convenience of having one jacket and one pair of pants with built-in armor is on a cold day, you just throw on the pants and throw on the jacket with your PJs or, you know, warm sweater underneath, and you can ride and then take it off as we go. because I think we're heading back. Today it sounded like the plan was to get back into Chicken Corners kind of area, maybe do Hurrah Pass again. And the cool thing about that is we'll then continue from there on the Utah BDR, which will lead us through Lockhart Basin, which by all accounts is getting worse and worse, which is good news because that makes it funner and funner, more fun. And we'll be making our way down to Valley of the Gods. Stay tuned as we continue on our way, exploring further into Onion Creek.
Wow, that looks like a road.
It gets exciting as we are faced with an epic challenge that reminds us, looks can often be deceiving.
Is this a good idea?